Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, stretch your arms, and glance at your phone. A notification catches your eye, an old friend's vacation photos, crystal clear waters, golden sunsets, effortless smiles. For a brief moment, something stirs inside you. Admiration? Maybe. But beneath it, an unsettling shadow. Envy, self-doubt, a quiet whisper. Why isn't my life like that? You dismiss the thought. Of course, you're rational. You know social media is curated. You know people only show their highlights. And yet, the feeling lingers. A faint sense that you're missing something, that your life should be different, that reality isn't quite measuring up to the version in your head. But here's the paradox. This isn't just about social media. It's not about vacation photos or filtered perfection. It's something much deeper, something far more insidious. Your mind, the very thing you trust to perceive reality, is constantly deceiving you. It edits, distorts, fabricates, turning the world into a carefully constructed illusion. Not just in small ways, but in fundamental ways. It convinces you that you understand people's intentions when you don't, that you are making rational choices when you're not, that you know yourself when, in truth, you are a stranger to your own psyche. What if I told you that the way you experience reality, your beliefs, your desires, your very sense of self, is not what you think it is? That your mind is not just an imperfect observer, but an active manipulator, shaping your reality to fit a narrative that may not be real. And if that's true, then the question isn't just what is real. The question is, who is controlling your reality? Hold that thought, because once you see the answer, you may never trust your own mind the same way again. You like to think of yourself as a rational being, a thinking, feeling, self-aware entity navigating reality with logic and clarity. But what if that's the first and greatest lie your mind tells you? The truth is, your perception of reality is not objective. It is sculpted, filtered, and twisted by forces you rarely notice. Cognitive biases, subconscious fears, evolutionary instincts, each one quietly rewiring your thoughts, guiding your actions without your consent. Your mind is not a mirror reflecting reality. It is a storyteller, fabricating a version of the world that serves its own agenda. Carl Jung warned of the shadow, the hidden, repressed parts of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge. Your mind, like an overprotective parent, buries truths that threaten your self-image. It convinces you that your failures are due to external forces, while your successes are entirely your own. It downplays your contradictions, smoothing out the rough edges of your identity so you can sleep at night believing you are a coherent, consistent self. Nietzsche took it even further. He argued that humans are not seekers of truth, but seekers of comfort. Your mind does not care about what is real. It cares about what is useful, what allows you to function, what keeps you from staring too long into the abyss. That's why it clings to convenient narratives, why it justifies bad decisions, why it constructs illusions of certainty in a world that is fundamentally uncertain. And then there's Schopenhauer, who described the will, the blind, irrational force that drives human behavior beneath the surface of conscious thought. You think you choose your desires, your ambitions, your moral convictions, but do you? Or are they simply rationalizations for something deeper, something primal, something outside your control? Consider this. If your mind distorts reality to protect you, then how much of what you believe about yourself, about the world, is real? And if you cannot trust your own perception, then how do you know whether the life you are living is the one you truly chose, or simply the one your mind allowed you to see? The consequences of this are far greater than you might think, and they are happening right now. You walk through life believing you see the world as it is, but in reality, you are living inside a carefully constructed illusion, a version of reality tailored by your mind to keep you comfortable, functional, and unaware of its manipulations. And the consequences of this silent deception are everywhere. Think about the choices you make every day. You believe you're acting out of free will, that your decisions stem from logic, personal preference, and careful thought. But psychology tells a different story. Take the confirmation bias. Your mind selectively filters information to reinforce what you already believe. If you think the world is against you, you will notice every slight, every rejection, every challenge as proof. If you believe you are intelligent and competent, you will ignore evidence to the contrary. Your mind is not interested in truth. It is interested in coherence. It seeks patterns, even where none exist, constructing a reality that aligns with your pre-existing beliefs. Or consider the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less you know, the more confident you feel. Your mind overestimates its own competence, convincing you that you understand politics, psychology, even yourself, when in reality, your knowledge may be riddled with blind spots. You feel certain, but that certainty is a lie. And then there's cognitive dissonance. When faced with evidence that contradicts your beliefs, your mind does not seek truth, it seeks resolution. It bends reality, rewrites memories, distorts logic, all to maintain the comforting illusion that you were always right. Now, imagine this happening on a grand scale. Entire societies shaped by illusions. False narratives about history, morality, identity. Cultures built on self-deception, reinforced by echo chambers and ideological blinders. Wars fought, lives lost, futures shaped by minds that cannot even see their own biases. If you think this doesn't affect you, consider this. How many of your strongest beliefs would survive if your mind wasn't protecting them? How much of your identity would remain if the lies you tell yourself were stripped away? The scariest part isn't that your mind lies to you. It's that you never even realize it. But what if you could? What if you could break free? What if you could strip away the illusions? What if you could train yourself to see reality, not as your mind wants it to be, but as it is? To do this, you must be willing to rebel. Not against society, not against authority, but against your own mind. You must question everything, especially the thoughts that feel most comfortable, the beliefs that seem most obvious, because those are often the ones your mind has manipulated the most. Start with doubt, radical doubt. René Descartes once reduced everything to a single certainty. I think, therefore I am. But what if you took it further? What if, instead of accepting your thoughts as truth, you asked, why do I think this? Where did this belief come from? Is it truly mine, or was it planted there, by culture, by upbringing, by fear? Next, embrace discomfort. Your mind resists uncertainty because it craves stability. But real clarity doesn't come from certainty, it comes from questioning. The more willing you are to sit with paradoxes, to entertain opposing ideas without rushing to resolve them, the closer you get to reality. Nietzsche called this the will to power, the strength to forge your own meaning instead of accepting pre-packaged illusions. Then, observe yourself, not just your thoughts, but the way they arise. When you feel anger, ask, is this anger justified, or is it my mind protecting my ego? When you feel certain, ask, is this certainty earned, or is it my mind clinging to a belief out of fear? Become an outsider to your own psyche. Watch it like a scientist studying a strange organism. And finally, seek contradictions. If your mind constructs a version of reality that aligns with what you already believe, then the fastest way to disrupt the illusion is to challenge those beliefs. Read perspectives you disagree with. Engage with people who make you uncomfortable. Seek the cracks in your worldview, because those cracks are where truth begins to shine through. This is not an easy path, but it is the only way to reclaim your mind from the illusions it creates. And once you do, you will see what was hidden all along. The ultimate truth. Imagine standing at the edge of everything you once believed. The comfortable narratives, the illusions of certainty, the carefully curated self-image. Gone. What remains? This is where most people turn back. Because the final truth is not reassuring. It is not comforting. It is not the answer your mind has spent a lifetime searching for. The ultimate truth is this. There is no fixed self. No stable, permanent you. Your mind has spent years constructing a coherent identity. An idea of who you are, built from memories, experiences, and inherited beliefs. But beneath it all, there is no singular, unchanging core. There is only a constant flux of thoughts, emotions, and impulses, shifting moment by moment. The self you think you are is just another illusion, one your mind tells itself to maintain control. Buddhist philosophy calls this anatta, the doctrine of no self. Neuroscience supports it. The brain is not a single entity, but a network of competing processes, each battling for dominance in any given moment. The thoughts you call yours are not truly yours. They emerge unbidden, shaped by biology, culture, and subconscious forces beyond your awareness. Jean-Paul Sartre called this radical freedom. If there is no fixed self, then you are not bound by past mistakes, past identities, past fears. You are free. But with that freedom comes responsibility. There is no pre-written script, no ultimate meaning handed to you. You must create meaning for yourself. And that is the final, most unsettling realization. There is no truth, only the truths you choose to live by. This is why most people retreat into illusion. It is easier to believe in a stable self, in comforting lies, in a world that makes sense. But once you see through the illusion, you cannot unsee it. The question is, what will you do now? Will you cling to old narratives knowing they are false? Or will you embrace the terrifying, exhilarating freedom of shaping your own reality? Because now you know your mind has been lying to you. The question is, what will you choose to believe next?